listening to a ZTOTV podcast. Low quality, high content. You are listening to the best of ZTOTV podcasts. I am Frank, and this is your October 2020 edition. I'm glad everybody is enjoying this. This is our second episode. And it's just kind of a roundup of what is popular this month, so the top 10, for October. I hope everybody had a happy and safe Halloween. I know I had a pretty good month of watching horror movies and just kind of enjoying the season. It gets really, we're in Ohio. We have one of the best autumns, I think, in the United States. I just think that that Halloween is really appreciated in Ohio, and I carry the torch all year. I'm one of those every day is Halloween kind of guys. So it's November now, but it's still Halloween to me, baby. So let's check in with what everybody was listening to in October 2020 on ZTOTV podcasts. We're going to start with number 10, Time for Talkos, episode 11, Otherworldly Thoughts. This is a panel show hosted by Ken Newman and Carrie Meyer. They had a couple guests on talking about UFOs, talking about the finding of otherworldly vehicles, and it's just it's for the sci-fi nerds. Check it out.
I know, like in the Bible and stuff, you have things called like the Nephilim and the chariots of fire, which pretty much would be descriptions nowadays of like UFOs or otherworldly things. And then like what I find fascinating is like, all right, example of the seraphim are described as like having four faces, various features, which comparative to like other alien descriptions would match perfectly. I'm not saying like little green men, but like you go with like Lovecraft, like cosmic horror, like very like what I would assume to be alien true forms, matches a lot of the stuff that you would see, like as Carrie was saying, like in mythology across all globe, is like they have some form of like otherworldly things coming down.
Yeah.
And knowing knowledge, like even in Catholicism,
and none of them are in communication with each other either.
Right.
Over time.
Yeah.
Like because of like the span of exactly, like there was no connections during that time for them to be able to share, I think, that information. So
that's why when you look at pyramids as well.
Yeah, pyramids,
obelisks,
Stonehenge, the way that they constructed Stonehenge, I'm like, how did you do this? Like,
and in some cases, where did the whole population even go?
Yeah.
Like the Mayans just disappeared.
Mayans disappeared. Mayans had like the gods, like Quetzalcoatl, like the flying lizard.
Yeah, right. The dragon, yeah.
The dragons, again, forms of flying lizards. Catholicism, you have like
it goes deep.
Yeah, it goes deep. So it's like I feel like somebody somewhere had seen these beings come down, and of course, based upon their culture, gave them their names and such. But I'm like, but the fact that they're having these beings to base something off of, I think is like something to go on.
Okay, well, we're at number 9, and this is the latest episode of What the Fuck Did I Just Watch? Episode 6, entitled Gaslighting Some Serious Shit. This is the first episode of their second season, and it features their first guest host. So they'll be doing guest hosts all this season, and then maybe landing with a new permanent co-host for the show. So enjoy this clip, and I'll be right back.
I saw Gaslight when I was maybe 12 or 13, and I had a parent, well, actually I had a couple parents that always played that game. Like whenever they tried to have conversations with you to talk things out, and you'd say something that happened and what the issue was, they would say, well, that never happened. You're just being dramatic. I don't know why you think that. You're being hysterical when, I'd be speaking calmly. And that kind of thing kind of fucked me up for the rest of my life, because I ran into relationships with it and everything else, where you think that once you recognize it that you're immune to it, but it's not true. What happens is you spend the rest of your life questioning your sanity. So I saw Gaslight when I was like 12, and I was like, fuck, that's what they were doing. Well, shit. And this was before they made it like a common term, like before you started hearing the term gaslighting. So I saw the movie, understood what was going on, and then about probably the 90s, they started throwing around the word gaslighting a lot about, the psychological damage and stuff that it does. But prior to that, I had never heard the term, but I saw the movie and saw what this guy was doing. So, one, it was a breakthrough for me. And two, every time I watch it, I get infuriated and just odd and like, what the hell all over again. So it was very impactful to me. Rebecca, John Paul?
I knew about the movie for some time, although this was the first time I've actually watched it. I had found out, I'd heard the term gaslighting. I'm not sure when. I know it was after I got divorced. And I heard the description and I'm like, oh my God. So that's what happened to me. So much like yourself. And so I'm just going to go ahead and say that when I was watching this movie, I was yelling at the screen a great deal. There was a lot of, no, this is what he's doing to you, woman. So it's it's newer to me, but I had been familiar with it before.
So Jenny, like yourself, I think my dad was the master of gaslighting myself and my brothers and my mom. He kind of just masterfully did that to us growing up. And the first time I watched this movie, I think I was maybe 15 or 16. Like, we were at somebody's house for Halloween, and their parents go, well, I understand you all are going to watch Chainsaw Massacre and all these other, like, gory movies, but if you want to see something really scary, and they put this on, and like you, the light bulb just went. And that's also when I stopped trusting my father.
Up next, we're at number 8. This is Schlockfest, episode 27, the Trick or Treat special. Ray McGuff very rarely gets to pick the movie for this show. It's generally John Paul Mantia torturing him with some piece of schlocky cinema that Ray generally hates. I kind of felt that Ray should have been able to pick something that he enjoys that Jean Paul doesn't, maybe even if it doesn't involve schlocky films. But Ray went with a schlocky pirate movie from, I think, 1995. I don't know, Cutthroat Island, Gina Davis, Matthew Modine. Check out this clip.
For those of you that are not familiar with the film, it's Gina Davis plays Morgan Adams, who inherits her late Buccaneer father's galleon and 1/3 of a map to a buried treasure located in the mythical Cutthroat Islands. The map has been tattooed on her father's scalp, and to find the treasure, she must locate and scalp his 2 other brothers. Morgan's swashbuckling uncle, Dog Brown, wants the treasure for himself, does battle with his headstrong niece and her unwilling accomplice, the Latin-speaking physician, Mr. William Shaw, played by Matthew Modine. This again was directed by Rennie Harlan, who is just usually terrible.
What are you talking about? Nightmare on Elm Street, Part 4.
Okay, sorry.
The Long Kiss Goodnight.
Okay, he did a couple of good
Ford Fairlane. The Prisoner.
I do like Ford Fairlane. And Nightmare on Elm Street.
There you go.
Whatever. But this movie literally sank pirate films in Hollywood from 1995 until Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest, which was...
I believe...
Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of the Black Pearl. So from 1995 to 2003, there were no pirate movies.
I disagree.
What?
There was a great one that came out in 1996. It was called Muppet Treasure Island, with Jim Huckins, Tim Curry, Rizzo the Rat.
Okay, I don't care about that. So I'm just saying this film is what sealed the deal to close pirate action adventure films for a while. Also, it kind of threw Gina Davis's career into a real tizzy. She did a few films after this, and then has kind of fizzled out over the last few years.
That her then husband, Rennie Harlan, directed.
Yes. I mean, let's see here. Just a quick by her movies.
After this movie,
Yeah, I was just gonna say, what was after this movie?
The Long Kiss Goodnight.
Probably, because
That
I
was
think
good.
they came out. Well, that's what I'm saying. They came out like back to back. 96. So yeah, so 95 was this. 96 was The Long Kiss Goodnight, and then she has been very few and far between from there on out. So she did some TV shows. Yeah, so this movie might have killed her career for a while as well. That's yet to be seen, I guess. I don't know. But it was terrible. I knew it was terrible. I don't like this movie. But why did I do it, folks? Because this motherfucker right here, for the last 6 months, has made me watch musicals, 2.5 hour weird ass musicals, and so many films I just hate. Couple that I liked, but so many that I hated. So I was willing to sit through this pile of garbage just to torture him.
Next up, we have the Last Roundup Horror Show's Last Roundup Horror Club. This is our bonus episode. We do one regular review show, 4 reviews. It's just a regular format. Then we have a bonus episode called The Club, where we will do a bonus review. In this case, it's 1992's Candyman. And generally, we have an RPG game we played called The Horror of Moss Grove that I kind of created. And we do trivia. We have a show and tell segment. It's fun. Check out the Last Roundup Horror Club right here on ZTOTV Podcasts.
As you guys are discussing your next move, just so happens that a bag-headed mutant bursts through the through the front window.
Don't say.
Yeah, a bag-headed mutant just so happened to roll right on that number that he needed to hit, and he busts through the fucking window. So, random encounter happens. What do you say?
It's Dave's turn.
Dave?
All right. Well,
You have an empty beer bottle in your hand. And what else did you have? I can't remember. Duct tape?
it's got
Let's figure it out.
Can I smash the beer bottle over the footlocker so I have like a
Sure.
weapon?
Sure.
Yeah.
Let me see how you do with
So I'm
that.
gonna go ahead and do that.
Okay, well, it doesn't break. So, I don't know what to tell you there. You want to try it?
Yeah, I don't know what to do.
Go ahead and give it another shot. I'll give you another shot here.
All right. So
It broke. It broke that time. You hit it twice.
Right. I'm taking this shit.
You would try it again, I think. You wouldn't
Give
just
it a couple
once.
taps. Okay, I take the I try to attack the bag-headed goblin.
All right. Oh, you really hit him good. Right in the eye. Right in the eyeball.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
He gets hit for 30 hit points.
Yep.
But he's not dead. Not dead.
Okay.
Jason.
I take my sledgehammer and I bash his skull in.
That's tempting. Let's see how it works out.
I
Ooh.
love how many blunt weapons we have. Just like
Well-
shift.
You didn't hit him. You missed. But, the good thing is he didn't hit you either. He comes at you and he falls on the floor.
Oh shit.
Okay.
John,
What are my weapons?
you have a
You have an
flashlight, a hatchet, a Bic lighter, and a warm beer.
I hatchet him in the head.
And you hit him. Let's see how much. Oh, not a lot. Not a lot.
Oh, Jason, give me the sledge. Toss the sledge to somebody so they can
He's
just
at 2 hit.
do a melon on it.
2 points?
He got hit. He hit him by 2. He grazed him.
Jeez.
So this fucking thing's still alive? Is that?
Yeah, it's got quite
Yeah.
a few hit points left. He's a big guy.
He broke a nail though.
He doesn't have a weapon though, and he seems fairly stupid. He can't even get off the floor.
Okay.
I think he messed himself up. He confused himself when he busted through the window. So, but what do you say, Ray?
I tie him up with the rope.
Oh,
There you go.
all right. Let's see how this works out for you.
Now we can kill him.
Okay. He's a little too strong.
Fuck that.
And now you're wrestling with him on the ground. You guys might want to consider teaming up against this guy in some way.
They're not wrestling. That ain't wrestling.
Stop fucking me, bad guy. Somebody save my virginity, please.
The good thing is he doesn't seem that apt at attacking you, so he just hits you by 3 hit points by punching you in the side.
Okay.
We're on to Dave.
All right. Can I hog tie him with the duct tape?
I mean, if you think you can think you're strong enough, Ray's dealing with him, so.
What do you think, Ray?
I think there's a good shot if I'm wrestling with him, you could get his legs tied together.
We could, or we could just both have sex with him. It's your call.
I say we take that mask off.
We can try it. I mean.
Yeah. All right. Well, you guys succeed in tying him up. He is on the ground.
Yes.
Now I take my sledgehammer and I bash his skull in.
Okay. All right.
I missed, right?
No, you did it, man.
All right. I killed
it. So.
All right.
Now, what are you gonna do now? You got 3 dead bodies.
Yeah, I feel like we should have talked to him. The guy tied up and should have
He busted through the wall like Jason Voorhees on your ass.
Yeah, you kill him.
Up next, we have the Exploder Wrestling Podcast. This is episode 76. Exploder's been one of our longest running shows. If you're a wrestling fan, if you're not a wrestling fan, I think you can still enjoy this. This is Dan's feature on super shows, where you'd have more than one promotion working together for a big, phenomenal wrestling event. Generally, probably in Japan.
Then there's the WWF Super Shows with the Super World of Sport. These were 3 shows held at the Tokyo Dome. The first event happened on March 30th, 1991, which was 7 days after WrestleMania 7 and 9 days following. So this is 9 days after the New Japan WCW Starrcade 91 show at the Tokyo Dome. So this is at the Tokyo Dome 9 days after WCW had one with New Japan. Koji Kitao and Genichiro Tenryu. Tenryu, of course, was the boss of SWS. It was his promotion. Would defeat Demolition at WrestleMania 7. That was sort of a weird match, but, you know. And this was sort of the return. Then they brought a bunch of the WWF would bring over WWF guys to work the SWS shows, and they sort of worked back and forth. Now, like I said, these were 3 shows. The March shows saw a near shoot between Kitao and Earthquake. Kitao would basically shoot on Earthquake, which is a horrible thing to do, because Kitao was a sumo wrestler who became a wrestler. So was John Tenta, the guy behind Earthquake, and Kitao tried to shoot on him, and it didn't go well for him. And then Kitao would get on the microphone, on a live microphone, and declare wrestling was fake, and then quit. He would do like I said, he would expose the business, and they would eventually fire him. That actually happened at one of these SWS shows.
Coming up, number 5, Last Roundup Horror Show. This is the original recipe, the first episode of our 4th season, episode 58. Belial's cousin, Bruce Springsteen's sister, Reggie's ponytail, and digital snakes. Listen to me and John Walmsley bitch about Bruce Springsteen's sister right now.
The scene where Angela stabs Allie and is like forcing her into the toilet, the outhouse, with the stick, that's the most disturbing kill in this movie for me, and I think it's because it took so long, and there was like shit on leeches on her, and it really took forever. It was like a long struggle. But that girl, you see her at the end, when all the bodies are in that cabin, which means Angela exhumed her body from that outhouse, and I want that scene. I don't know why it's not in there. I gotta see it physically. How? Also, I don't think a face full of battery acid would kill a man. Thoughts on that? That dude goes right down. Battery, it would burn you. Oh yeah, it would suck. He's done. Yeah, it's like it just gave up.
I feel like you're being very critical.
It's because
of Sleepaway Camp 2.
It's because I should like this.
Yep. You don't?
I like it. I gave it a 6.
I keep waiting for you to say, but I love it.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it enough. As much as you got to realize, I hate Pamela Springsteen as this character. So I enjoyed everything that happens enough, the campiness of it, the schlockiness of it, enough to bring it up to a 6 when it really should be like a 3 because I hate her. So I think that if they would have just gave her the direction to act a little bit more like the character should act, there's no reason for this terribly annoying person to be. It's not like they don't need to change her characteristics. They don't need to change her characteristics enough to be like trying to sneak something in on you. They let you know she's killing people every time she kills somebody. They show her. So it's not like in the first one where, I don't know, fuck it. I'll give it a 6. But who's next?
I'll go. This film needs a little bit of redemption. 80 slasher, summer camp setting. That's my comfort food. You got campfire, scary stories, woods, fog. There's some eerie music playing. It's a little silly. It's definitely a little bit more over the top silly than the first one. But it's fun. It's entertaining. They let you know the killer right from the get-go. There's no cat and mouse, no red herring. You sit back and just enjoy it. Lots of boobs. There's even the titty patrol or whatever they call the boys. They kind of throw out and this is also the reason why I avoided this movie forever, because on the cover they have a girl who I don't think is even in this movie.
No, she's a model because Springsteen wasn't available that day.
So the hockey mask and the Freddy glove, I just assumed this was just a parody making fun of it. I don't know. I just avoided this for whatever reason.
I like how they used those in the movie.
But yeah. I like how they kind of mixed that in here. Decent effects. Okay acting. I know you don't like Angela. It definitely is night and day from the Angela in the first one.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It didn't bother me. I don't know. Just didn't bother me.
I guess I liked her in the first one. Should I have liked her? I probably shouldn't have liked her, but I liked her.
No, I think everyone's.
You had sympathy for her.
Yeah.
I don't have any sympathy or empathy for her. I hate her. I wanted somebody to kill her.
It is so different where it almost feels like it's not a sequel. Like it has nothing to do with the first one. Like it's just kind of a standalone slasher that they just mention. Just throw a couple things in there.
Yeah,
that can take you back to the first one. But
and they even tried to kind of erase the whole sex thing of the whole thing. They're like, oh well, yeah, she's a woman now. Like she had a sex change, or that.
Certainly not. It's not brought up for sure.
Yeah.
But anyway, I like this movie. I like this franchise, or at least the first 3. I give it a 7. What do you think, John?
All right, so. I'm with Frank on this one. She was so annoying. I'm getting the size. It was. I wanted to really like it. This was probably only the second time I've seen it, because I just wasn't impressed the first time. So this came out in 88, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Right. Okay. Mm-hmm. So the slasher genre was dying. So they're like, what can we resurrect? Sleepaway Camp 2. Awesome. Cool. That movie was crazy in, what was that, 82?
Yeah, that sounds right. 82 or 84. Can't remember.
I feel like it was real early in the 80s. But anyways, it didn't really do much for me.
Coming up on number 4 right here on the best of ZTOTV podcasts is What's the Word with Jay and Trent. This is episode 9, Broga and the Tongue Punishment. You don't know what Broga is? Listen to these guys talk about it.
The next topic of discussion is Broga.
Broga. What is that, man?
Broga.
I've never heard of it.
Brian, I'm going to turn that over to you because you actually brought that up to me. So,
Yes, I invited Jason, and he turned me down vigorously. Like, I do not want to do not want to do anything.
That's the correct way to put
anything
it.
about
But
yoga,
you never
broga.
invited me, man. What the heck?
I didn't have your number.
Oh, okay.
Trent. So I'm friends with you on Facebook, but
you're not on that level yet.
Do you want it now?
Just slide it over. No one can see us. We're on a podcast. But I've been doing this for about 9 weeks now. So it's a hot yoga. It's all dudes. So of course everyone's competitive, and it makes it a lot harder. But
I'll just be that dude in the back.
But yeah, it was actually my wife got me into it because her friend works at the yoga studio, and one of the husbands in the moms group she's in a bunch of moms groups, was going. She's like, well, he's going. You need to go because you need to make friends with the husbands in the moms group. So of course I'm like, well, yes, hon. I'll go. And then she tells me 5 minutes before I leave for the first time to go try it out that it's hot yoga. I'd never done yoga, didn't know what the hell that meant. It apparently means that they put the studio up to like 98 degrees. It's freaking.
So my question
So it's like a
is,
sauna.
Does it smell?
It does not smell.
As I imagine it would.
It does not. You
Like
probably don't pay
body
attention much to
odor?
the smell.
Well,
but
because I mean, you got a
sweat.
whole bunch of dudes, together.
Well, the
that's why
dudes
I've been
only meet
very
once a
reticent
week.
about doing stuff like that.
Dudes only
unless
meet
it's, like,
once a week in
outdoors.
the class. It's once a week on Tuesdays, Tuesday evenings. The rest is, mostly just mixed in whatever classes. But they do a good job cleaning and everything. They follow all the COVID
I hope
rules
it
and
smells
policies.
like lavender.
Yeah,
it really does because
what do they do?
They have they have a diffuser and stuff. But
that's cool.
Like after you do because it's like a Baptiste power yoga, which you're sweating your balls off. Like I had a cheap yoga mat. I sweat through that thing. It's like a freaking rag. And like you can like twist the sweat out of it, and that thing already ripped in half. Basically, I had to buy a new one.
That is crazy.
That's the
So
imagery.
when you're done, they're like, oh well, now that we've
It's like
basically
a I get.
Oh, it's
yeah.
awful. Yeah, it's like a sponge. Like it was one of those thick mats, like a sponge now.
Oh
And
man,
it's awful.
Just,
So I
just
got
buy
a
me
new one.
3. Just buy 3.
Yeah, I got a new one that has like a towel and protects you from that. But yeah, at the end, after they kick your ass and they're like, okay, now you're gonna do this move where you just kind of like spread out and relax.
Do they talk like that too? Actually,
well, the teacher is he's kind of like he's a bro, man. He's like a bigger dude that's like yeah. So he's
broga.
He's got very he's got very he's got a very soothing voice, but it's kind of chill like this and everything. But yeah, at the end he's like, you just kind of spread out, and then he's like, also to the upper right corner of your head, I have placed a lavender infused towel. If you would like to put that cool towel on your face to relax for a minute.
Thanks, bro.
Exactly. So.
All right, so this is strange. I didn't anticipate this, but our previous episode of the Best of ZTOTV podcasts for September landed at number 3. So instead of that, I'm not going to play a clip from a clip show. I'm going to play a clip from our latest holiday streaming event. It was a little advertisement for Holiday Office Party. If you don't know what that is, check this out.
Randy.
Yeah.
It's Halloween, pal.
Yeah, but I mean,
not cool.
Well, clearly you guys haven't heard Office Holiday Party.
What's this?
It's a brand new album by Third Floor Studios. It has everything that you'd ever want in a holiday spirit song. It's
Halloween.
It's Halloween, sure,
Quit,
for you.
Quit
But if
stepping
you've heard
on Halloween.
If you've heard this Office Holiday Party album, you guys would not be saying this. You'd be ready for Christmas right now. Here, listen to this track.
All right, you ready? Here we go. Rocks around the Christmas tree for the bad kids Christmas Eve. You think you got cool stuff this year? Well, you'll be disappointed. Of course. Rocks around the Christmas tree for the bad kids Christmas Eve.
I see what you're saying. That is a
Right?
different style of holiday song, but sort of traditional in a way. It's still Halloween though. I think that I'm not on board with this transition.
Listen. If you listen to the next track and just imagine you're at Mom's house, it's Christmas time, the decorations are up, she's getting the candied yams out of the oven, and then boom, you get hit with this track.
Skiddly-bop, skiddly-bop, skid-to-bop, my sleeves fit nice. Scoot-to-bop, chop-bop, cap-a-dap-o, bow-bow-bow-chow-boom-bow.
You know, you're really making a case for yourself here. Jean-Paul, what do you think?
I'm already in love with Christmas. You know this, but the song is really making me reevaluate my relationship of carolers in my youth.
Well, yeah, I can almost smell gingerbread.
Yeah,
but it's still Halloween. I just can't get over it. It's literally Halloween.
It really is. Halloween is literally like in 5 days or something. I don't have a calendar, but I will tell you this: you won't need a calendar if you pop this sweet soundtrack in and listen to this track. It's Christmas time, 24/7. Listen to this.
Oh, you better watch out. You better not cry. You better not pout. I'm telling you why. 'Cause Santa Claus is coming to town. Oh, he's making a list and checking it twice. They're gonna find out who's naughty or nice. Girl, Santa Claus is coming to town.
You know, that is a stellar track, but what's up with the guys dancing? It's kind of weird. Does that go with the album? Is that like...
It goes with the album.
All right. Well, you know, I'm starting to lean a little bit more towards that area, but like I said, we're doing a Halloween thing here, Ray. We've taken the time to take over this feed, and we need to focus on the holiday at hand. So,
well, that being said, I get what you're saying. I love Halloween. I've watched many Halloween movies, but have you ever turned the volume off A Christmas Carol and listened to this track?
Randolph the blue-nosed horse deer had a hard time growing up. All of the other horse deer really like to beat him up. Ooh, ow. Then all the other horse deer came around to where he was. That's when they saw that horse deer sitting on his bum.
all right. You know what? I'm on board with you, Ray. You've changed my mind. This is going to be my new holiday soundtrack, and maybe my everyday soundtrack. You know, just keep that spirit going 24 hours a day.
Keep it going.
But
Santa Claus coming to town, Frank.
Yeah, that's for sure.
All right, coming up on number 2, Deconstructing Bill Murray. This is one of my favorite shows to do. Just watching Bill Murray movies. There's not a lot of bad ones, believe it or not. And this is one of my favorites. Episode 7, Ghostbusters. Perfect for the Halloween season. Check it out.
The cast is great. Even down to some of the smaller character actors. Of course, you have Bill Murray as Peter Venkman, Dan Aykroyd as Dr. Raymond Stantz, Sigourney Weaver as Dana Barrett, Harold Ramis as Dr. Egon Spangler, Rick Moranis as is it Lewis?
Lewis Tully.
Lewis Tully. Annie Potts as Janine Melnitz, and Ernie Hudson as Winston Zeddemore. But there's two other actors that I want to highlight a little bit. Alice Drummond, the librarian.
Yeah.
Do you remember her from anything else?
Wasn't she in Batteries Not Included?
Oh, maybe. I'm not sure. The two that I had for her was she's Ray Finkel's mom and Ace Ventura, Pet Detective.
Okay.
Remember, she has the cookies that are shaped like footballs and stuff. And
Right.
she's also in that Tu Wong Fu movie.
Oh, yeah.
You remember that? She's really funny in that. I think she's the only part I really liked about that movie. But she's also in Funny Farm, evidently, but I don't remember.
Yeah, she's like one of the kooky townsfolk in Funny Farm. I remember him. Yeah.
The other character actor I want to highlight is William Atherton. He plays Walter Peck. You might do you remember him from anything?
Oh yeah, dude. He's been in a shit ton of stuff.
Yeah.
He was in Die Hard. as
Yeah.
as the smarmy journalist.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he always showed up in '80s movies. I don't have a list in front of me, but yeah.
Yeah, the one I was like, what have I seen him in? Biodome. He
Yeah.
is the guy that goes crazy and like eats that bird or whatever.
Yeah, I'm God.
He evidently did such a good job though that people in real life would like try to fight him at bars. I cannot imagine what that person must be. Like, you fucking with the Ghostbusters, buddy? What the hell? Let's take it outside. You don't fuck with Venkman. Dude, I can even picture that. But
I think I just got into an argument with that same guy on Mark Harp's
oh really?
Post earlier.
Oh,
shout out to my buddy Mark.
If it's a Kent night, you never know what's going to fly out of their mouth. You also have appearances by Larry King, Reginald Vell Johnson, Casey Kasem's voice. His wife was in this. Evidently,
I love that part with Casey Kasem because he's like, the Ghostbusters kicked it in and saved the day and then danced the night away with several lovely ladies.
Yeah. Man, I used to listen to that show he had on the radio. Like back when that's all I had in my room was like a radio and, you know, a couple cassettes. But you also have Ivan Reitman doing the voices of Zool and Slimer. So that was a fun little trivia thing that I found out. Once again, we have a role here that would have been filled by Eddie Murphy. Everybody wanted to put Eddie Murphy in every fucking thing, but he declined to play Winston. There's so many crazy like casting things that might have happened that fell through or went sideways. It was originally intended for Eddie Murphy, but when he declined it, they had to rewrite the fucking script, so that's why Winston doesn't come in until like halfway through the movie.
And why would Eddie Murphy turn this down? It's like perfect for him.
I don't know.
It's just a bunch of one-liners of him doing crazy shit. You know?
Yeah, but you know, Michael Keaton turned down both the roles of Venkman and Egon. That would have been weird, I think. Maybe he could have did Venkman. But Peter Venkman was originally written for John Belushi, but he died when Aykroyd was writing it. So that sucks. But Chevy Chase also turned down being Venkman because he thought the original script was darker, and he didn't like where they were going with it. Steve Guttenberg turned down Peter Venkman to be to be in Police Academy. Tom Hanks and Robin Williams were considered for the role of Venkman as well. John Candy turned down the role of Louis Tully because his ideas for the character were rejected. Evidently, he wanted him to have a German accent and own Schnauzer dogs. But they were like, there's already evil dogs in the movie, so that's a little bit too much, Jay Leno read for Louis Tully. That would have sucked. Fuck that guy.
Yeah.
Don't like him. Christopher Walken, John Lithgow, Christopher Lloyd, and Jeff Goldblum were all considered for Egon.
Could you imagine Jeff Goldblum?
That would have been perfect, I think.
Yeah.
According to Ernie Hudson, an earlier version of the script had Winston like with a larger role and a backstory where he was an Air Force demolitions expert. This is why he took the part. He thought he took it for half his salary. He's like, that sounds like a great role. The night the shooting began, he was given a new script with the new reduced role. The studio wanted Eddie Murphy, so like when they found out they didn't get him, they wanted the role scaled back because it was expanded for him.
What a bunch of scumbags. I really hate studios, man.
And if Ernie Hudson hadn't taken the role, Reginald Vell Johnson was gonna be Winston. Of course, he's Carl from Family Matters, if anybody doesn't know.
Right.
That would have been hilarious, I think. But
that might have almost been more funny, honestly.
Oh, yeah. All right, now coming in number one. This is a new show I started with my wife about a month ago or about a couple months ago. Murder Fluent. She's telling me about a true crime story, and I'm learning about it for the first time, and
She kind of explains all the details and bums me out a little bit. But check out this clip. Thanks for listening. Make sure you subscribe to ZTOTV Podcast. Wherever you listen, we're on a lot of things. I don't think we're on all the things, but we're on a lot of them. Just Google it, man. ZTOTV Podcasts or hashtag ZTOTV. Anyways, happy November. I will see you next month with another one of these. Stay tuned. When you're a parent, you are responsible for those kids. When they are gone, when they just disappear and you're like, you can't produce them. If you go to Hawaii, you automatically are guilty. You've admitted it right there, because you should care. You are legally bound to care, and you've abandoned all of your responsibilities, and you're refusing to tell people where you buried your children.
Just staunch. I'm not going to say. June 9th. 7 a.m., Rexburg Police and FBI and Fremont County Sheriffs serve a search warrant at Chad Daybell's home. Within hours, they uncover the human remains of JJ and Tylee.
And they were in this pet cemetery?
Tylee was in the pet cemetery, yeah. She had been burned and dismembered. JJ had fresh dirt on top of rocks, on top of paneling, and then JJ was under it, wrapped in plastic.
And it's a lot of work and thought into doing
Mm-hmm.
that.
And to dismember her, like, burn her. She was, like, under, like, a metal bucket that had been melted. I don't know. It's just ridiculous. Lori talked on the phone to Chad, and he told her that they were searching the house and yard. He sounds very worried in this phone call. It sounds like he knows that they are going to find them. And she says, should I call you later? And he just says, like, you can try. Okay.
Yeah, you can try. I'll probably be in jail because I didn't do a very good job of hiding it.
And I think Alex is part of this too, but, you know, he's dead now. So June 9th at 11:30, he's taken into custody and charged with 2 felony charges of concealment and distribution or altercation of evidence. June 10th is his first court appearance, and he has a $1 million bail by Fair and Edens again. And then Rob Wood, the prosecutor, confirms that the remains are the children. June 29th, the prosecutors file felony charges in Fremont County and related to the discovery of the bodies. There's a 16-page affidavit of probable cause, contains info by detectives that led them to file the charges. July 2nd, prosecutors dismissed 2 felony counts of desertion and non-support of the children, and she pleads not guilty to misdemeanor, resisting or obstructing officers, criminal solicitation to commit a crime, and contempt of court. She is set for jury trial from January 25th to the 29th in 2021.
Wow.